This is Amud Yomi Gemara in Shabbos Daf Mem Ches Amud Aleph, and we're holding at the Gemara Mem Zayin Mebeis. We began the Mishnah laying the framework of the items that Hatamana is Aser. And in the Mishnah, Rashi pointed out that when we say Hatamana, we're insulating something. We're then referred to in the Mishnah the items the Hatamana B'Davar HaMoisiv Hevel that increased the heat. We gave a whole list of items. So begins the Gemara, Yibayiluhu. Gefes al Zaitim Tanan Avol Shimshon Shabar Tami. The Mishnah said Gefes. What type of Gefes of skins is it usher to do Atamana, to insulate something in? Again, to take your pot and put it inside a pile of these items to retain the heat. Is it only olive skins or even sesame skins? Says the Gemara, or maybe the Mishnah means shumshimin. And certainly, you're not allowed to put it in olive skins. Tashema, says the Gemara, Kupa, a box, which one puts half food in, so realize it's an extra layer. Putting my soup inside a box, and this box is something else. Says Rav Yanai, even though it's in its own box, you're not allowed to put the whole box in Gevish al Zaitim, in olive skins and whatnot, because the heat on the bottom, these olive will go around the box and keep it all hot. So clearly we see that the Mishnah is referring to olives. Says the Gemara, no raya. Maybe when you're actually doing atamana, meaning the Mishnah's case is different than Rav Yanai's case. In the Mishnah's case, you're referring to putting the pot directly inside the sesame, directly inside the olive items. So maybe then, says the Gemara, even sesame is also. When Rav Yanai said you're putting the pot in a box, and then the box inside these items, that's when he only said olive. Le'inyan, as we turn over to Memchazam and olive, Asuke Hevla, heat that's going to be able to radiate above over this box. Maybe even for that level, Shumshin won't be able to add that much heat. Says the Gemara, Rabbah, there Rav Zera, second line of Memchazam and Aleph, went to visit the Reish Kalusa, they saw a certain Eved that put a jug of water over a mouth of the kettle to heat up the water. Nizhai Rabbi. Rabbi was upset. Rabbi screamed at this Eved. Why are you screaming at him? How is this any different than putting one mecham, one kettle, on top of another kettle, which we're going to see is mutter? Answers the Gemara, over there, when you put one kettle on top of the next, you're preserving the heat. You have two hot items, you could stack them to keep the top one hot. But over here, you took a cold item and put it on top of the pot. Alude kamoilid, you're creating the heat onto the cold water. So Rabbi got upset at this habit. Rabbi then saw, you know what the servant was doing next? He spread over something, a turban, a kerchief, something over the top of the jug, and then he put a ladle inside this. We have a jug. He takes this jug and he puts his something over the top of it. We don't know exactly, but some sort of cloth item. And then he takes the ladle and he sits it inside. Amrle Rav Zera Amai, says Rav Zera, again Rabbi yelled at him. Amrle Rav Zera Amai, why are you upset now? Amrle Hashta Chazis, you're going to see. L'soiv Chazi, what did this Eved do? So again, there was this turban, there was this cloth item on top of the jug. There was the ladle sitting on top of it. What does he see next? He sees that he takes off the ladle. He sees that he takes off the turban, this cloth, and he sees that he's wringing it out. So Soiv Chazit Kamachale, he's wringing it out, being over in Schita. That's what Rabbi screamed at him. Amrle Maishna Bebar Mipar Vanka. Said Rav Zera, how's any different from a rag? In the case of a rag, we do allow, we're not machmir, we don't say you're not allowed to put it on top, then maybe you'll come to squeeze it out. Amar Lei, answers Rabbi, a big yisaid in the world of Slita. Hasam like capital Yeh, capital Yeh. If you take a rag and you put the rag over some sort of water situation, over there we know that you're not makbid on the rag. It's a shemata. So we're not nervous, you're going to come to wring it out. But over here in this case of this Eved, he took his cloth, he took his turban, he took his handkerchief, something that he was makbid on, so then he was going to wring it out, and that's a Rabbah screamed at him. So a little bit of a short segue into some of the halachas of schita. And we continue with the two dots, about 15 lines down, Mem Chesam and Aleph. V'loi b'teven, the Mishnah said you're not allowed to put into straw, grape skins, all these other items when they're wet. If you have moichin, you have some dry flax, dry kain, dry items, which are used as hatmana items, are you allowed to move it? It's like a simple towel, something that you put inside the pot on Friday. Now on Shabbos, you let him move this item. Just because you don't have a box of straw to do atmana, are you mafkir? The box of muchan is like pillow stuffing and things like that. Usually, what do you do atmana with straw? Something that says very little value. Over here, you didn't have straw, so use something a little bit more chashiv. But it responds Abaye, just because you had to use it doesn't mean that you make it hafkar, meaning the item's still muksa, because the item has a value. So says the Gemara, therefore the the muchan is still going to be muksa. Says the Gemara, let's bring a raya to this teretz of Abaye. Time the Megizei Samer B'Tzifei Samer L'Shen Shalar Gamun B'Moichin. You allowed to do atmana with wool shearings, wool, different types of wools, and purple wools and stuff. Vein metaltal son. It says the Bryce, you cannot move them. So clearly, like we just said, that even though you're using them for atmana, it doesn't make them not muksa. The item has a different usage. You didn't use it for that. You used it for atmana, but doesn't make it not muksa. Says the Gemara, no raya. Imi shama, 20 lines on the bottom. The first one in line is misham. Imi shama la arya. Why? You could say what the price I meant to say is, if you didn't use it, then it's muksa. If you used it, maybe not. So you don't have a raya. Says, what's the chiddush? If you have an item you didn't use, an item that's not Shabbos usage, of course it's muksa. Then maybe it's something that could be used to lie upon it, something that could be used as a pillow. Kamash Malon, then no, that's not a normal usage, and therefore it's not muksa. We do not have a raya to Abaye. Again, Abaye answered that these moichin are not muksa. Or yes, muksa, even though used them for atmana. The Gemara concludes that we don't have a raya to that. The two dots, about 14 lines to the bottom, will begin the next sugya for a moment. Rav Chisda allowed one to return the stuffing into a pillow on Shabbos. And over here, we take a bit of a left turn into the halachas of Baina Bekelim, or more particularly, we'll see Maka Bepatish. Rav Chisda said, you have the stuffing of a pillow that came out of your pillow, you're allowed to put it back in on Shabbos. You're allowed to untie the neck opening of a new garment, but you can't cut it open. Because if you cut it open, you're creating the shirt to usage, for usage. And you're not allowed to put in the stuffing. Neither into a kasses, into a pillow, nor into a mattress, or into a pillow, or into a car on Shabbos. So the Brisa clearly says it's also to stuff the pillow. Says the Gemara, big yisoid in makabe badish, loy kasha habachaditi habatiki. If it's a new pillow, then it's also. Habatiki, if it's an old pillow, if the stuffing fell out, then you're allowed to put it in, because makabe badish is the final blow. Usually only happens one time, unless sometimes the halacha says if the stuffing came out to the extent where it's not usable, then maybe it's called a new usage. But says the Gemara, that's the chalik tanami hachi. But nashru, if it fell out, the machzinu but you let it return it to an old one. It is mutter. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata dishmaya.